The Trump administration just dropped a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through immigrant communities worldwide. 75 countries, millions of families affected, green card processing frozen overnight. If you're watching this video right now and you or your loved ones are from one of these affected countries, I need you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to share with you. Because buried within this devastating announcement are critical exceptions, loopholes, and pathways that most people don't know about. Pathways that could still bring you to the United States, reunite you with your family, and help you achieve your American dream despite this massive freeze. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because the information I'm about to reveal could literally change your life and the lives of everyone you love. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Entry Status USA, your trusted source for the latest immigration news, policy changes, and expert guidance on navigating America's complex immigration system. My name is your immigration advocate, and I'm here today to break down one of the most significant immigration policy shifts we've seen in recent years. Before we dive deep into this topic, let me tell you exactly what we're going to cover in today's video. First, I'm going to explain precisely what this 75-country freeze actually means and why the administration implemented it in the first place. Then, we're going to go through which visa categories are being impacted and, more importantly, which ones aren't. After that, and this is the part you absolutely cannot miss, I'm going to reveal every single exception, workaround, and legal pathway that's still available to you, even if you're from one of these affected countries. I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll have a complete understanding of where you stand, what options remain available to you, and exactly what steps you need to take right now to protect your immigration journey. So if you're new to Entry Status USA and you want to stay informed about critical immigration changes like this one on a weekly basis, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell so you never miss an update when we go live, and show your support by giving this video a big thumbs up. Your engagement helps YouTube show these crucial updates to more people just like you who desperately need this information. Now let's get right into it. Understanding the freeze. What actually happened? Just days ago, the State Department released an announcement that has left countless families in limbo and immigration attorneys working around the clock to find solutions for their clients. The administration has implemented a comprehensive freeze on immigrant visa processing for applicants from 75 countries around the world. This isn't a temporary delay or a minor administrative holdup. This is a full-blown freeze that went into effect on January 21st, 2026. And as I'm recording this video right now, it is actively being enforced at U.S. embassies and consulates across the globe. Let me be crystal clear about what this means. When we talk about immigrant visas, we're specifically referring to the documentation that allows foreign nationals to permanently relocate to the United States and eventually obtain their green cards. This freeze primarily targets family-based immigration applications. So, if you're a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident who has filed a petition to bring your spouse, your parents, your children, or other qualifying family members to America, and they happen to be nationals of one of these 75 affected countries, your case is now stuck in bureaucratic purgatory. But it doesn't stop there. Certain employment-based green card applications that are currently being adjudicated have also been caught up in this freeze. What this means in practical terms is that even if someone has gone through the lengthy, expensive, and often exhausting process of securing employer sponsorship, passing labor certification, and reaching the final stages of their green card application, they may now find themselves unable to receive their visa if they're from one of these designated countries. The effective date of this policy is critical to understand. January 21st, 2026 is the line in the sand. Any applications, interviews, or visa issuances that were scheduled or completed before this date may still be processed, though even that comes with some important caveats that I'll explain in just a moment. But anything after this date falls under the freeze, and that's where things get complicated. The official justification: public charge concerns. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why would the administration implement such a sweeping policy that affects so many countries and so many families? According to the official announcement posted on the administration's social media accounts, the stated reason revolves around public charge concerns. The administration has expressed worry that immigrants from these 75 countries might come to the United States and become dependent on government benefits and assistance programs that they're not legally entitled to receive. The fear, as they've articulated it, is that this could drain resources from the American economy and place an unfair burden on taxpayers. Now, whether you agree or disagree with this rationale, whether you think it's justified or discriminatory, the reality is that this is the policy we're dealing with right now. And my job isn't to debate the politics or the ethics of this decision. My job is to help you understand it, navigate it, and find every legal avenue available to overcome it. Because here's what I want you to know. Even in the face of this sweeping freeze, there are still options. There are still exceptions, and there are still ways to bring your loved ones home. Which countries are affected? I know many of you are sitting there right now wondering, is my country on this list? Am I personally affected by this freeze? Rather than reading through all 75 countries right now, which would take up valuable time in this video, I want to direct you to a comprehensive resource that my team has put together. In the description box below this video, you'll find a direct link to our detailed blog article where we've listed every single affected country, along with additional analysis and updates as the situation develops. I strongly encourage you to check that out immediately after watching this video. However, let me give you a snapshot of some of the countries that are included in this freeze to give you a sense of its scope and reach. We're talking about countries across multiple continents and regions. Afghanistan is on the list. Albania, Algeria, Armenia, and Azerbaijan are all included. The Bahamas, Bangladesh, and Barbados, countries that many wouldn't expect to see on such a list, are also affected. Bhutan, Cambodia, Fiji, Grenada, and Guatemala have been designated. Moldova and Mongolia are included, and I should mention that I was actually born in Moldova. So this policy hits close to home for me personally. Morocco, Nepal, and Montenegro are on the list as well. Now, countries like Iran, Syria, Somalia, and Russia already had existing restrictions in place, but this new policy expands and intensifies those limitations even further. The breadth of this list is staggering. It includes countries from Asia, Europe, Africa, Central America, and even the Caribbean. It cuts across economic lines, political affiliations, and cultural boundaries. The common thread, according to the administration, is the perceived risk of public charge, though many immigration advocates and legal experts are questioning the data and reasoning behind these specific selections. What visa types are actually affected? This is crucial information that I need you to understand clearly because there's a lot of confusion and misinformation circulating right now. This freeze specifically targets immigrant visas. Let me repeat that. Immigrant visas. These are the visa categories that lead to permanent residency and green cards. However, and this is very important, if you're applying for non-immigrant visas, this freeze does not currently apply to you. What does that mean in practical terms? If you're planning to come to the United States as a tourist, perhaps to attend the World Cup or visit family, your tourist visa application should proceed normally. If you're applying for a work visa, such as an H-1B or L-1, to work temporarily in the United States, this freeze doesn't impact you. If you're a student who's been accepted to an American university and you're applying for an F-1 student visa, you can breathe a sigh of relief because this policy doesn't affect student visas at this time. The freeze is laser focused on immigrant visas, particularly family-based categories and certain employment-based green card applications. This distinction is absolutely critical because it means that even if you're from one of the affected countries, you may still have pathways to enter the United States through non-immigrant visa categories. And once you're here, different rules may apply to your ability to adjust your status, which I'll discuss in detail shortly. Critical questions everyone is asking. Over the past 48 hours since this announcement broke, my phone has been ringing nonstop. My email inbox has been flooded. My WhatsApp is lighting up constantly with messages from concerned clients, worried family members, and people who are desperate for answers. Let me address the most common and urgent questions that I've been receiving. First question, What happens if I already had an interview scheduled after the ban went into effect? This is excellent news, and it's one of the few bright spots in this otherwise dark situation. According to cables released by U.S. embassies just days ago, interviews will continue to be conducted, even if they're scheduled after January 21st. If you had an interview scheduled before the announcement was made, even if the actual interview date falls after the freeze became effective, you should still attend that interview. Do not, and I cannot stress this enough, do not skip your interview. Showing up could make the difference between eventually getting your visa or having your case delayed by months or even years. The embassies have indicated that most applicants who were scheduled for interviews before the announcement should still be able to receive their visas if they're approved because their cases were already in the pipeline before the freeze was implemented. However, some cases may be selected for additional administrative processing under what's called 221G. If this happens to you, the consular officer will inform you during your interview, and you'll receive further instructions about next steps, but not every case will face this additional scrutiny. Many eligible applicants are still getting their visas approved and issued. Second question, what if I've already been approved for a visa, but I haven't received my physical passport back yet? This is a tricky situation, and unfortunately, the answer varies on a case-by-case basis. Some applicants who were approved before the freeze went into effect will still receive their passports with valid visas, and they'll be able to travel to the United States as planned. However, in other cases, consulates may review these approvals and potentially cancel them even though they were initially granted. This is why it's absolutely essential that you stay in close contact with your embassy or consulate. Check your case status regularly, and if you have an immigration attorney, keep them informed of any changes or communications you receive. Third question, how long is this freeze going to last? This is the question everyone wants answered, and unfortunately, it's the one question I can't give you a definite answer to. As of this recording, there is no specified end date for this freeze. The official language says it's paused until further notice, which is government speak for we don't know when this will end. This uncertainty is agonizing for families who are separated, for professionals whose careers are on hold, and for individuals who have invested years and thousands of dollars into their immigration applications. All I can tell you is that you need to prepare for this to potentially last for an extended period while simultaneously pursuing every available exception and alternative pathway that I'm about to explain to you. The exceptions and workarounds you need to know. Now, we're getting to the heart of what you really need to hear. Yes, this freeze is devastating. Yes, it's affecting millions of people. But no, it's not the end of your American dream. There are exceptions, there are workarounds, and there are legal pathways that remain open even for people from these 75 affected countries. Let me walk you through each one. Dual nationality exception. If you hold citizenship from two countries and one of those countries is not on the affected list, you have a major advantage. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say you're a citizen of Bhutan, which is one of the banned countries, but you also hold a Canadian passport. In this scenario, you are not subject to the freeze. You can proceed with your visa application using your Canadian nationality. You may need to request that your case be transferred to a U.S. embassy or consulate in Canada or another location where you can apply based on your non-affected citizenship. Dual nationals have a clear path forward, and if this applies to you, you should act on it immediately. National interest exception. This is a powerful tool that many people don't know about. Just like previous immigration restrictions, this freeze allows for national interest exceptions. If you work in healthcare, if you're in a specialized industry that has a critical need in the United States, if your presence here serves the national interest of our country, you may be eligible to apply for a waiver that would allow your case to proceed despite the freeze. Healthcare workers are particularly likely to qualify given the ongoing needs in medical facilities across America, but other professions and situations may also qualify. If you think you might be eligible for a national interest exception, and I'm talking to doctors, nurses, researchers, people with unique expertise in fields that America desperately needs, you need to reach out to a qualified immigration attorney immediately to begin the waiver process. Time is of the essence because these applications take time to prepare and adjudicate. Already inside the United States, this is huge, and I need every person watching this video to understand this point clearly. If you are currently inside the United States and you are a national of one of these 75 affected countries, you can still apply for a green card. Let me say that again. If you're already in America, this freeze does not prevent you from filing an adjustment of status application to get your green card. The freeze specifically applies to people who are outside the United States trying to come in through consular processing at embassies and consulates abroad. But if you're already here on a valid non-immigrant visa, or if you have another legal basis to adjust your status, you should absolutely move forward with your green card application. This is not the time to wait or hesitate. This is the time to act. What this freeze doesn't cover. Let me also clarify what this freeze does not affect, because there's a lot of unnecessary panic about things that aren't actually impacted. This freeze does not affect I-90 applications to renew your green card. If you're a lawful permanent resident who needs to renew your green card, you can do that normally. This freeze does not affect applications to replace certificates of citizenship. If you need a replacement certificate, that process continues as usual. This freeze does not affect N-600 applications for certificates of citizenship. These administrative processes are separate from the immigrant visa freeze and are not currently impacted. Fiancé visas. Here's another critical piece of information that could be a game changer for many couples. K-1 fiancé visas do not appear to be included in this freeze at this time. Now, I want to be cautious here because the situation is still developing and we haven't seen enough time pass to know for certain how every category will be treated long term. But as of right now, we have not received reports of K-1 visa applications being rejected or frozen for applicants from these 75 countries. What does this mean for you? If you're a U.S. citizen who is engaged to someone from one of the affected countries, the K-1 fiancé visa pathway may still be open to you. By all means, if you're in this situation, move forward with your K-1 application. Get your petition filed, get your paperwork in order, and pursue this route while it remains available. Non-immigrant visa strategy. Remember earlier when I explained that this freeze specifically targets immigrant visas but doesn't affect non-immigrant visas? This opens up a strategic pathway that some people may be able to use. If you're from one of the affected countries and you're stuck overseas, unable to get your immigrant visa, but you qualify for a non-immigrant visa category, like a tourist visa, work visa, or student visa, you may be able to enter the United States on that non-immigrant visa and then adjust your status to permanent residence once you're inside the country. This strategy isn't available to everyone, and it depends on your specific circumstances, your eligibility for non-immigrant visa categories, and whether you have a valid basis to adjust status once you're in the US. But for those who can pursue this path, it could be a way around the freeze. What you should do right now. If you're sitting there watching this video and you're affected by this freeze, or you think you might be, or you're just worried about how this impacts your plans, let me give you clear, actionable steps you should take immediately. Step 1, determine whether your country is on the affected list. Go to the description of this video right now. Click on the link to our comprehensive blog article and verify whether you're subject to this freeze. Don't assume anything. Check the facts. Step 2, if you have an interview scheduled, attend it no matter what. Even if your interview date is after the freeze went into effect, show up. Your attendance could be the difference between keeping your case alive and watching it languish indefinitely. Step 3, if you're a dual national, start the process immediately to have your application processed based on your non-affected citizenship. Contact the appropriate embassy or consulate and request a transfer of your case if necessary. Step 4, if you think you might qualify for a national interest exception, don't wait. Reach out to a qualified immigration attorney today and begin gathering the documentation and evidence you'll need to support your waiver application. Step 5, if you're currently in the United States, seriously consider filing your adjustment of status application now rather than waiting. The freeze doesn't affect people adjusting status from within the country, but we don't know what future policy changes might bring. Acting now protects your position. Step 6, if you were planning to travel outside the United States and you're from one of the affected countries, reconsider those plans very carefully. Once you leave, getting back in could become significantly more complicated. If your travel isn't absolutely essential, my advice is to stay put in the United States until we have more clarity about how this situation will unfold. Step 7, Stay informed. Immigration policy is changing rapidly right now, and what's true today might change tomorrow. Subscribe to this channel, follow our blog, and make sure you're getting accurate, up-to-date information from reliable sources. A message of hope. I know this video has contained a lot of difficult information. I know many of you are scared, frustrated, angry, or heartbroken right now. I want you to know that your feelings are valid. This freeze is disrupting lives, separating families, and derailing dreams that people have worked for years to achieve. It's not fair, and it's okay to acknowledge that. But I also want you to know this: it's not over. Immigration law is complex, and even in the face of broad restrictions, there are almost always pathways forward for people who are determined, informed, and properly guided. Throughout my career, I've helped clients navigate travel bans, policy reversals, administrative delays, and bureaucratic nightmares that seemed impossible to overcome. And time again, we've found solutions. We've gotten waivers approved. We've reunited families. We've helped people achieve their American dreams, even when everything seems stacked against them. This freeze is another challenge, but it's not an insurmountable one. The exceptions I've outlined in this video are real. The workarounds exist, and for many of you watching right now, there is still a clear path forward. You just need to know where to look and who to ask for help. So here's what I want you to take away from today's video. Yes, the 75-country immigrant visa freeze is real. It's significant, and it's affecting millions of people worldwide. But no, it's not the end of your immigration journey if you're willing to explore every available option, pursue every exception you qualify for, and get the right legal guidance to navigate this complex situation. If you have questions about anything I've covered today, if you want to share your own situation and get feedback from our community, or if there are specific aspects of this freeze that you'd like me to address in future videos, please drop your questions and comments in the comment section below. I read every single comment, and your questions help me create content that addresses the real concerns of people in our community. Remember, if you found this video helpful, if it gave you clarity in a confusing situation, or if it provided you with information you haven't seen anywhere else, show your support by hitting that like button. Your likes tell YouTube to recommend this video to other people who desperately need this information. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Entry Status USA. Do that right now so you never miss our weekly videos and our Monday night live sessions where we dive even deeper into immigration topics and answer your questions in real time. For those of you who need personalized assistance with your specific immigration case, whether you're dealing with this freeze or any other immigration challenge, my team and I are here to help. If you're in the United States, you can send me a text at 619-483-4549. For our international viewers who can't text a US number, we have a dedicated WhatsApp number set up specifically for you. You'll find both contact options listed in the description of this video and in the pinned comment section. Reach out to us and let's schedule a consultation to discuss your case, explore your options, and develop a strategy to move your immigration goals forward despite these challenging circumstances. We're currently working with clients who are affected by this freeze. We're getting waivers approved, we're securing national interest exceptions, and we're still successfully scheduling interviews and reuniting families despite being on the affected list. There is hope. There are solutions, and you don't have to navigate this alone. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I know we covered a lot of ground, and I hope you're walking away with a much clearer understanding of where things stand and what options remain available to you. Stay strong, stay informed, and stay hopeful. The American dream is still within reach for those who are determined to pursue it. This is Entry Status USA, your trusted source for immigration news and guidance. Until our next video, stay safe out there, take care of yourselves and your families, and I'll see you very soon with more updates and information. Goodbye for now.